Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel where we go beyond the buzzword, beyond the basics, and beyond the BS to help you really master marketing agility. As I promised last time, we're really digging into the meat of the remarketing framework starting with this video, and I'm very excited to introduce you to the execution team. Now, this is what we call the core Agile marketing team within the remarketing framework, and it's really the building block on which everything else is built, right? There are some really key characteristics of a great high-performing execution team, 8 of them to be precise, and I'll be going through each of them, but first I need to make my usual ask, which is that if you're enjoying this content, please let me know. A like, a comment, or even better, a subscription. Hit that little bell and that lets you know when I post new videos, which is going to be happening much more often now that the book is out and I can tell you all about what's inside of it. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single video and miss a piece of the puzzle. All right, with that out of the way, here are the 8 key characteristics of an awesome Agile marketing execution team. Now, an execution team, first and foremost, needs a shared purpose. They're not just a hodgepodge, random collection of marketing subject matter experts. They've got a true, meaningful reason to collaborate. Best case scenario, this is a customer-centric reason to collaborate, right? So something centered around the customer journey, perhaps a stage of the funnel even. Funnels might be a little passé these days, but they're still useful in this regard. We can think about, are we all about collecting more people, increasing our addressable audience? Are we trying to convert those people into customers? Are we trying to keep them around longer? This is the kind of customer-centric shared purpose that we want an execution team to have. You can even build them around personas if you have multiple personas that you market to. But the core driving force here is that we've given these people a real goal and objective what they're going to pool their efforts to try and achieve, right? Closely related to this is the second component, which is a small set of core key performance indicators or KPIs. Just how are we going to measure if this team is working, right? What are they trying to achieve? And how are we monitoring that over time? And these first 2 go really nicely together to create a filter for the team. So a lot of marketing teams struggle with the inability to say no. We can't push back when requests come at us. But if we have a purpose and we have KPIs that we're being evaluated on, and a work request comes in, we can use those things as a gentle pushback, right? To say no or not right now. And because all those things should be tied to a customer-centric outcome, we're not saying no because we're mean or bad colleagues. We're saying no because doing that non-value added work would prevent us from delivering value to a customer, and that's bad, right? So this shared purpose and core KPIs come together to provide this filter and this really clear lens through which the team views the world. They're the owners of the how. We can give them the goals and objectives that we're trying to hit, and we can tell them what their KPIs are, but they're the ones who are going to decide how to make that happen. And this is how we keep marketing teams from being short order cooks who just get work kind of thrown over or written on a little ticket and says, go fry some eggs, don't ask questions, right? That's not what we want these teams to be like. They need to have investment and the ability to take ownership of what's going to happen. In order for them to achieve all of these great things, though, we come to our 4th characteristic of the execution team, which is we want to make them as cross-functional as possible, meaning that whenever we can manage it, we want to put all the necessary skills to achieve these goals within the team. Now, this can create some challenges because most marketing departments are not resourced this way. We'll dig into that more in a future video of how to kind of get around that. But for now, best practice, get the capabilities needed together on the team This way you're going to minimize the amount that team has to run around and bother other people for the things they need to succeed, and they're going to become more autonomous and ultimately faster and less frustrated. Kind of almost counter to this idea of cross-functionality, though, is the idea that the team needs to be small. And this is your fifth characteristic. We want to keep them 5 to 10 tops. We want this group to be small and nimble, right? The more people we introduce, the more overhead in terms of time and mental energy we have to expend to maintain those relationships. And the more complexity we introduce in terms of handoffs and things like that. So we want to hit this balance between having all the necessary skills and keeping the group small. Research into team size has indicated that 5 is about the sweet spot for getting work done in a group of people for any kind of work. So smaller is usually better whenever you can manage it. So you can see that we're going to end up with probably a lot of these teams in a large marketing organization. So you don't have to feel like you need a representative from every single subject matter expert in the building, right? Not every team might need an email marketing expert. Not every team might need a videographer. Think about the purpose of the team and then bring together the skills needed to achieve that purpose. You don't have to carbon copy every single team. Okay, sixth characteristic of the high-performing execution team is they have a clear strategic connection. So there's a clear line between what that team is doing and marketing's larger goals and objectives. We establish this usually through the seventh characteristic, which is a strong and stable point of contact with the rest of the business. So one person, we call them the team lead. Again, more on them in a future video, but the team lead helps to go and understand that strategic perspective and then to bring it back to the execution team, who can then translate it into the activities needed to meet their own strategic goals, but always directly connected to what marketing is trying to achieve. This is how we keep all the execution teams driving in the same direction without reverting to dictatorial, command and control, everybody's going to do this on this date in this way kinds of marketing direction, right? So we have clear strategic connection provided by this stable point of contact. One person on the team who, if I need the team to do something, they're the person that I ask. They're the person who helps to say, based on my team's purpose and our core KPIs, yes, that's a great idea. We are totally going to take that on in our next iteration. Or, no, that is not within our mandate. We are not going to tackle that. I'm sorry. Thanks for the great plan. Maybe this other team over here is the right person to do that for you. Last, but absolutely not least, is these teams need psychological safety. Now, this phrase was coined by Amy Edmondson, and it essentially means that people have the freedom and the sense of safety to say hard things, right? They feel okay speaking up, even if what they're saying challenges the status quo, is counter to traditional ways of working, might be a little bit hard to hear for somebody on the team. But what's been discovered, particularly through Google's Project Aristotle, where they studied thousands of teams, is that psychological safety is this huge success factor. It overrides expertise, leadership, all these other things to determine whether a team is likely to be successful. So you need to create a space where people feel comfortable and safe to speak their minds. Retrospectives exist for this reason, right? And they should be well run and nicely facilitated so that they establish and maintain this psychological safety. But if we want high-performing teams, this is something we have to cultivate within the team, within the department, within leadership, everywhere. Again, we will dive super deep into all of these in future videos, but for now, we've got the 8 characteristics of a high-performing execution team. So go make a checklist, start ticking them off, and watch your agility increase. Thank you very much for joining me. I can't wait to see you next time when we continue to dig into the groups of people that are crucial to mastering marketing agility.